Is it wrong, though?
You better get back!
Just who the hell do you think I am?
Hey everybody, what is up, and welcome back to another anime review with TheMKninja, and it is sadly the last review for Sentai month. I know it's a little sad to see it go, but I really enjoyed this month of reviews. I got to watch all this really great anime back to back, and I just have to say, Sentai Filmworks just has a really vast library of stuff, and they have so much great licensed material, so much so that I actually very much implore you to check them out. There will be a link in the description below to their store page where you can get amazing deals on a ton of anime. And the best part is, I'm not even being paid to say this. At least, not yet. But of course we have to get to the review, which is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon, or Danmachi, which is kind of a shortened term for the Japanese title. Is it wrong, or is it so right? Well, enough dilly-dallying, time to get this bitch started. Bel Crenel has always wanted to be an adventurer, yet he seems to lack the strength to do so. However, being the only member of the goddess Hestia's familia, he definitely tries his best, and one day obtains a strange skill. Due to his feelings for the powerful sword princess Ice Wallenstein, he starts to grow stronger and stronger, being pushed by his drive to catch up to her immense strength. Along the way, he befriends some gods, gathers a few new teammates, and fights a lot of monsters. Now, I'm gonna break sequence a little bit. I'm gonna give like my overall general thoughts on the anime right now, which is, I know it's normally say to the end, but how do I say this? There's a lot in this anime that I saw coming. There's a lot of character ideas I saw coming. There's a lot of plot points I saw coming. There's a lot of comedy I saw coming. There's even some dialogue that I could have guessed. There are many points to where I knew what was going to happen. I said out loud, oh, this is going to happen, and then it happens. I knew what was going to happen, how it was going to happen, and why it was going to happen. By many accounts, it kind of fits in that whole trashy, not too great, kind of enjoyably bad, or just enjoyably dumb, strange, action, epic, ecchi anime. And it almost was. First of all, the characters. As I said, there's a lot of character beats I kind of saw coming, but I feel like there's points for these characters that really help make them not unique, but likable. I think Bel really works because, given by the plot synopsis and how it goes and such, you'd think, oh, he's going to be the OP main character who gets everything done and always wins. And it's almost like that. There's one distinction. He actually has progression. Because there's a lot of anime that are similar to this, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to get some cool action, some ecchi, and that's it. And they kind of have the main character start out as awesome. But Bel kind of starts out as a little bitch. And even when he gets his power, he has to work harder and harder, and he still gets into a lot of trouble. He still has people save him. He still has people worry about him. He's not a super badass instantly, and he still struggles. It wasn't until about the halfway point of the anime that you feel like the guy finally starts to really become a hero. And it wasn't until a few episodes earlier to where the anime really starts to pick up for me, but I'll get to that. The other character is also pretty fun. I really like Hestia. She's like this comedic goddess who has a lot of really great, funny moments, and she never gets annoying. It's never like, oh, come on, Hestia, shut up. Instead, there are some points where I feel like she had like she could have made a smarter decision, but it kind of fits with her character, and it didn't have any long-term consequences where I was like, oh, come on, you could have done this. It was more like, do this thing already, and then she does it a bit later than she should have, but she did it, and it didn't have too many hard consequences. So I'm like, okay, I guess I can look past that. Ice Wallenstein is kind of like the really quiet female badass, and I feel like she has this kind of like respect and friendship with Bel that I really liked, and I think benefited both characters really well. Like, if it does get romantic, I won't mind, but I like the relationship they have now, like where they kind of like they trust each other and they're friends, but they know they can look after each other, and I do quite like that. And then there are Belle's party members, who are Welf and Willie, who I actually quite liked, even though they didn't appear until a bit around the halfway point. They have their backstories and their characters defined throughout the season, and it really helps make them relatable and likable. And I did really like that. Like these characters, you might be like, oh, I know what kind of character this character's going to be, and then like they start building them through the way through, and even though it's not super surprising, it helps make them more fun and likable. And I think it really worked for Belle, who is kind of this like naive, really nice main character who I've kind of seen before, but the progression in his power and his drive to get stronger and the absolute naivete, but they acknowledge how naive he is kind of like this breath of fresh air that makes him not like super unique, but definitely quite likable. And there's a lot of really great side characters. Like there's a lot of really just fun ones who range from super badass to super funny to just really enjoyable. And my favorite part is the gods and goddesses because I love how kind of human they are, and it doesn't really super treat them as like these amazing divine beings, except for like maybe one or two moments. But they all have fun, strange personalities that kind of bounce off each other, and you get this feeling that they actually do genuinely care about their familia, and I like that. I like that whole human look at the gods and goddesses. I liked every single god and goddess that got enough screen time. Like all of them, in my opinion, were likable and interesting. I like their designs. There are some kind of strange things though, like Hephaestus, who was like the forager for the gods, and Loki, the trickster god. They're both goddesses in this, which is a bit odd, but I don't know. I never really was tied to them being male, and I feel like gods and goddesses are so powerful they could probably change their forms anyway. So I don't know, and I don't mind it, and I like them. So bleh. The anime is pretty predictable, but I feel like the story, while also again kind of being predictable, did throw me for a few loops and leaps here and there. And definitely has this really great fantasy kind of Dungeons and Dragons feel to it, where it feels kind of video gamey and isekai, even though it's not isekai at all. Like there's no going into another world. It's all one world. He's lived there all his life, and it just kind of has that feel like slightly, not like Super where it's like really distracting, but it kind of helps build the world as like this. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons campaign almost, and I like that as a guy who enjoys his D&D from time to time. I got a kick out of that. And it's definitely benefited by some pretty great action. Like the action is pretty damn enjoyable. There are two action scenes that I would say really stand out. The other ones are good and fun, but not like anything super special. But these two, which are the last fight of the anime, and Belle versus the Minotaur, which looks gorgeous. Like it looks really damn good. And most of the production value does also look good. The animation is great. It's never like stiff and lifeless and such. It always feels like there's something going on. And the background art is usually pretty great. The anime looks good. The action scenes look good. There are some CG stuff here and there. Sometimes it looks pretty good. Sometimes like you can't really tell unless you're looking for it, which I usually do because I've seen so much CG in anime. And again, sometimes the CG did look pretty good. Like it was like it looked like it belonged there, but other times, like with CG characters in the background, it was just kind of distracting. I know a lot of people have talked about CG characters in the background, but I don't know, it's a little distracting. But it never got to like the point where like, oh hey, it's more CG. It's more like here and there sometimes. I would say there's like only 2-3 points where I was like, okay, this is a little distracting. But everywhere else, I was like, it's one of those songs, all right. If I had any real complaints, I would say that the first 3 episodes, while definitely establishing the world and the characters a bit, are kind of a slow burn. It's like a campfire. Like, you light it, and it takes a bit of time to just really start to go. And you kind of sit there, and you know it'll be good eventually, or you just have a feeling it'll be good eventually. And then when it starts burning, you're like, all right, now it's good. And it was about episode 4 that started happening, where Belle became awesome. And honest, I will fully admit that if it hadn't been for this review, I might not have ever finished the anime. I might have been like, it was pretty cool, but nah, I might watch other stuff. There's been other anime like this that I didn't finish, but because I had to do a review, I did finish it, and I'm actually quite happy because overall, I actually quite enjoyed this anime. It was not super original, not super amazing. It's not the brightest fire out there, but it's one that I certainly enjoyed my time with. Overall, I'm going to give Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon a 7.5 out of 10. As I said, it's not super amazing or original or everything, but it just kind of has this fun charm to it that's hard not to like, at least for me, and I'm actually looking forward to the second season. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed Sentai Month. I enjoyed going back and back between all these anime, and Sentai Filmworks, if you're watching this, I want to try and set up a sponsorship at some point. Maybe not yet, at some point, because you guys are awesome, and yeah, that's it. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go and make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other videos, all that great stuff. Reviews will pick up again in January. Going to be taking a short break. But, as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.